Hello again. This video we're going to take a look at the Simgot EW200 Maze. Right off the bat, let me just say I've had a lot of QC issues with this. Now I made it a little short saying that Simgot found the cheat code, and it's still true, but their cheat code for the maze seems to be high quality materials but absolutely zero QC. It's like they took a bunch of good stuff, threw it in a bag, and just told people to grab random IMs out the bag, grab a random cable and throw it all in the box. Don't test anything, just grab what you can find and throw it in the box. I'll explain in more detail as I go. But what you get, I paid $36 for this. It's $39.99. It seemed to have had a $4 off coupon since release. What you get, tiny little box, nothing really special in it. Shows the graph back there, and it is basically what it sounds like. Although to my ears it sounds a little warmer than I was expecting. It's definitely a more smooth type sound, but anyway, we'll move on past this for now. As you see, you get a little box, nothing. Open it up if I can. Well, another cheap little cardboard box. You would have your IMs there. Your tips would be in here, and they're just very plain basic tips. Here, I'll pull one off right now. Just plain normal rubber tips. They actually work well though. I actually like them with the EW200. I like the way they sound, and despite being smaller than most of my other tips, they seem to fit okay. I do wear large in tips, and every brand seems to have different size larges. One might be smaller than another, and this is one of the smaller ones. Those normally don't fit me, but in this case it does. Really nothing in there. And here would be your cable, and I also believe in here, I think this pouch came from here. I should probably look, because this is the third one, and I'll explain why. So anyway, you get that. And here's the IMs. They're completely covered in fingerprints at the moment, but nicely made. Metal. Very pretty. Built wonderfully. The cable is very similar to the EA500 cable, but there are some serious differences. And it's hard to tell. I don't know if you guys can make it out. Hopefully you can see that, but it's silver and gold, whereas the EA500 cable is just all gold. Now, this is, as I said, my third pair. Here is the second pair I had. Now, the first pair I had to send back because they refused to send me a third pair until they got the first initial pair, which, okay, that's fine, it's understandable. These were all ordered from the, I believe, the Linsole store through Amazon. And the first pair I got was a massive channel imbalance. It was ridiculous. It was like, it felt like the volume was half on my left compared to my right. And when I measure them, the cable measured perfect. It was perfectly balanced, measured 0.9 ohms, both for the left channel and for the right channel. So I'm like, okay, cable's not the issue. I measured the IM directly, which was a pain, because let's see, I'll show you on this one. the holes in there are too small for my meter tips. I couldn't get in there, so I had to put little copper leads in there to measure off of. And that first set measured 21 point, what was it, 21.3, 21.4 ohms for one, and 15.4 ohms for the other. They were just horribly matched. I mean, that is a massive impedance difference for two IEMs. Now I get the second pair while I still had the first, and I actually kept notes for this one because I was really concerned when I got that. So I get the second pair, and it wasn't as severe, but now songs where I'm familiar with instruments that kind of do a circle around you, and you'll have like the bells that go from the right, circle around the front, and then to the left, to the back. It was only going to the right, and then to the middle, and then back to the right. So I measure, and I measured a cable that came with that one by itself. The left side measured 1.3 ohms, and the right channel of that cable measured 2 ohms. So I then measure the cable with the IEM. The left side measured 18.8 ohms. The right side measured 17.9 ohms. So now I take it off. I measured just the IEMs separately. The left IEM measured 17.5 ohms, and the right one measured 15.9 ohms. Granted, it wasn't anywhere near as bad as the first one, and if you weren't really being critical of your listening, you probably wouldn't notice. Or you would notice, but maybe you would think that's just how it is. So now I get this third pair, and again, same issue. Cable was measuring 2 ohms on one side, and like, what was it, 1.1 ohm on the other. But when I measured the IEMs, when I measured these, I'm now getting 15.8 ohms exactly. Now they're both measuring exactly 15.8 ohms. So I had to take the cable from the first one that measured exactly, I think it was on each channel. That one good cable I had to take and match it with the one good buds. And then now I got to ship everything back. So it took me 3 sets to get a pair of IEMs that now match. Now when I measure everything together, it's dead on perfect, just like the EA500 was when I got it, just like the EM6L was when I got it. Now the sound stage is so much better, sound quality is so much better. I'm hearing a nice effect of instruments going around me, like it's now performing as it should. And it's a shame, they sound wonderful. They're not the most detailed, but for $36, they're right where they should be. This is the Tin Hi-Fi C3. They easily match that with detail, and I would argue they're better because these have a more approachable tuning, in my opinion. These can get aggressive at times, but I find it fun. Like I even mentioned, it's kind of like a Headbangers T3. These can give you a lot of excitement. These more all-arounder, good detail, good everything, especially for the price. Now that everything's matched, the impedance of everything's matched and is balanced, and the sound is balanced, it's a wonderful experience. Compared to the Zero, it stands toe-to-toe with it. Despite this having 2 drivers, and regardless of what I run it through, this stands toe-to-toe with it as far as details. It's definitely tuning differences. The only advantage I would really give the Zero would be the sound stage. It's a little more wider, instruments are more spread out. But again, this has a more natural tone to it. Vocals sound more natural. It's more engaging. The bass isn't quite as much as this. Like, this has a bigger, more impactful bass. But I don't know. I can see cases where I would absolutely prefer to listen to these over both of those I showed you. It's really competitive with every $50 IM I have, if not superior in many ways. It's just, I cannot recommend them due to these QC issues. I would like to make a whole more detailed video and explain the sound in total, but it's, I don't know, it's almost not worth it. It took me 3 tries. I reached out to Simgot, got no response. Reached out to Linsol, and while I did get a response, they kind of just made it seem like I owned. Oh, I gotta find the email. I can't. I'm recording with that phone. But basically, the email said that we apologize. There is a small variation in the units you received. Not unfortunately, it's like you seem to have a very keen ear and notice these small details that others may not. So it's almost like it just read as if they're blaming me for not being acceptable of them not caring what they're shipping out to people. Now, I don't know who's responsible for the packaging. I would imagine it's Simgot, but Linsol's supplying everybody, so you would think, okay, they would want to look into it further, but they kind of just blew it off and said, oh, return it to Amazon. Like, yeah, I did that twice already. I'm on my 3rd pair now. So, I don't know. If you have no intentions of really being super picky or trying to compare these to other stuff, I'm sure you'll love them. They'll sound great. It's actually a surprisingly good tuning. Very enjoyable. Almost any music I play sounds good. Plenty of detail for the price. There's a surprising amount of detail, but it's that QC that ruins it for me. It's unfortunate because they really did have a cheat code. The tuning for this, I love. The tuning for the EA500, I love. The tuning for the EM6L, I love. And the EA500, I'm really starting to prefer the way I have it now with the foam in the nozzle. It's this beautiful, smooth experience all around now, as opposed to having those intense moments. I do love those intense moments, but it's just this wonderful, magical experience all around now. But as far as the EW200, if you're not on a super tight budget, I really would just say move on. Get something else. Get the Zero Red. Get the C3. Save up a little more. Get the EA500. Get a T3 Plus. Hell, get a Alina. Get almost anything. Get a... What is it? The Z300. Get that. I have not seen any issues like this from that. And I've actually seen I've seen reviews on that one, not from the people who get freebies. Because I pay for all my stuff. I'm a very, very small channel. I got one free thing that I'm not allowed to release the review on until the 22nd of this month. It's not even something I would normally ever do a review on, but I figured, what the hell, it will give me content. All the stuff I'm reviewing, I'm as a customer, just like the majority of you are. And if it took me 3 tries, I'm sure it's going to take other people 3 tries. Like, every time I bought a pair, I had to combine parts from those 3 to make one set the way it should be. Like, so I'm sure there's tons of sets out there that people might not even realize how bad it is. How many people are taking multimeters to their IMs and stuff? This is the first time I've seen this many in a row measure this badly and have this much imbalance and not be matched at all. I'm kind of disappointed. I mean, really can't do anything but put the blame on Simgot in this case. I guess you got to make some cuts if you're putting quality materials, because it's a very comfortable IEM. I love that build quality. I love that beam metal. The tips, while they are cheap tips, they're actually a nice silicone. The cable looks nice, even though it measures, even the good cable measures worse than the EA500 cable. It's just, I don't know. To be fair, my youngest daughter, I bought 4 pairs in total because she wanted a pair. I didn't measure her pair. She thinks it's fine the way it is. I haven't listened to it. But she's also not as nitpicking stuff. She just wanted a pair that sounds good so she can wear when she's out at the gym. Whatever. For some reason, she doesn't like having those wireless things in the gym. She says she keeps losing them or some crap. I don't know. That's her thing. But even though these sound great and you can find them for $36 almost every day, I don't know. I really wouldn't bother. It's just too many returns to get what you should have got the first time. They do sound great though. If people do get a balanced set, a working set, I'm sure you guys will love it. But Simgot, I don't know. They gotta find a better way to do this. Because for me, this is a hiccup in that beautiful road that Simgot was paving. And now I have to be more skeptical the next time they release something. And I can't just hop on buying it. I don't know. I'm sure it comes down to this being super budget, but it's just not right. Anyway, that's as much as I'm going to go into detail now. There's not much really to say. It does good bass. It's nowhere near the quantity of bass as, for instance, a Zero, but it does seem to be a little more full-bodied bass than the stock EA500. It's kind of a similar bass to the EM6L in a way. Vocals, smooth, warm. Treble seems nicely extended but also smooth. There are times where you can get a little bit of splashiness, but nothing in excess. It plays well, hip-hop, pop, club music, EDM, acoustic stuff. Heavy metal, I mean, it sounds good, but there's better stuff like the C3 Plus. If you're a heavy metal guy, the C3 Plus is the better choice. Anyway, that's all. Just be mindful of the risk you're taking when you're buying one of these as a consumer and not somebody who gets them shipped to you for free. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all the support, the comments. Please leave a thumbs up, subscribe. Again, everybody have a wonderful day.